Hello everybody, my name's Ryan and I'm a driving instructor, and today, bad things that people do after they pass their test and the DVSA annual report. So today, bad things people do after passing their driving test and also the DVSA annual report. Now, both of these stories are from different sources. They both were on Intelligent Instructor, and they both were from sources elsewhere and stuff that I've researched myself. And you can find all the details online. It isn't a problem to find it. You just search for it and it tells you. This is nothing new. This is something that I've looked at myself. But before we go any further, like the video, comment on it if you feel you need to, and also subscribe. Subscribing is free. Become a member if you want to see the content early. So then, this is about people who've passed. It was a bit of a survey that was done. Now I have to change to my magic glasses because when I printed it out so small I can't read it. So I'm going to go on to my other glasses so I can read the bloody thing, because yes, I forgot to print it out in bigger so I could just directly read it to you guys. Now you can read this online. I'll probably put the link in somewhere. There is a worry that young drivers are starting to, as they mean to go on, as it wasn't in their lessons. Most young drivers are careful, responsible and willing to learn, but new research, it doesn't tell you where the research was from, man, reveals that social profiling, can I say it, overrides these considerations for many. Nearly a third of young drivers admit to taking pictures or video footage. I take it all the time. I've got a dash cam. Do they mean on their phone? And do they mean whilst they are driving? No. Anyway, it goes on and it goes on and it goes on, and it tells you all the bad stuff that they've ever done. And it goes on, and the research commissioned by IAM RoadSmart revealed 1 in 20 have driven under the influence of, and it goes on. Except this thing that it's sort of having a go at, if you will, the things that it's saying are bad that new drivers do after they pass their test. Well, some of it you actually kind of inadvertently teach or expose people to. As a driving instructor, you're encouraged to essentially distract your driver a little bit. And the reason being is that so they can concentrate harder. So there's a book that I read about techniques on driving instruction and things like that. And the techniques for driving instruction pretty much said, why not put the radio on? Why not put the radio on? Why are you sitting in silence? If you've got somebody who's got 30 plus hours and they're decent and they can do all the manoeuvres and they've got a test in 6 weeks' time, or maybe they've got a test in 5 months' time, as we'll come on to later in the video, then maybe you want to distract them a little bit. Maybe you want to mention these things that people do after passing the driving test and not realise that some of them, well, yeah, we'll come on to that. Anyway, so these are top 20 young driver activities behind the wheel since passing their driving test. Eating while driving. That's not illegal as far as I know. And I googled it and it's not. It turns out they can do you for driving without due care and attention. Give you £100 and 3 points. But how many times have you seen Rozzers pulling people over for eating at the wheel? Unless I think they were swerving all the way down a road. Driving while tired is number 2. Hang on a sec. When you've done a hard slog at work 10 hours and you drive home, does that not mean you're driving while tired? Speeding. Now, speeding is a big thing. Everybody knows that. Now, is this inadvertent speeding or intentional speeding? Are you doing it deliberate to get home after a long day at work? Or is this accidental? So you're driving down a 40 road and suddenly you're doing 43. Does that mean speeding? You see what I'm coming from with this. Some of these things that are on here are a bit meh. Got road rage, such as aggressive shouting behind the wheel, honking the horn, flashing the lights. If somebody's creating you a hazard, you're alerting somebody to the presence on your road. Yes, it says in the highway code. Changing lanes without indicating. Again, it's not necessarily illegal. Although in these new cars with lane assist and lane assist on, you can't change lanes unless you've signalled. So maybe, but it's not illegal. It's something that you would teach out intentionally because people should be checking mirror signal manoeuvre. But technically, it's not illegal. And this is the thing: is this report is a bit vague. Distracted driving due to passengers. Doesn't everybody? How's that going to make it safe? Are we all going to drive? I've seen this new report on Waymo, I think it's called. I'll put a linky thing somewhere. I'll put it in the description. Self-driving cars in San Francisco. They don't even have a driver in the front. They've been authorised by the government. Does this mean that these automated cars don't get distracted, and therefore if you're driving one of these newfangled all American cars that there's nobody to distract, so therefore you just become a passenger in the driver's seat? I know with Danielle's new Mazda 2 hybrid, and you put it in cruise control, adaptive cruise control, and it will even slow down and stop at things like junctions and traffic lights, if you trust it, which we didn't try it. We actually drove it at 70 with the cruise control on, and you could have balanced an orange in the steering wheel and it would have driven itself. I'm almost certain. I'm absolutely certain. Driven despite weather warnings advising not to. Some people have essential journeys, so that's a load of rubbish. How many times do you get do not drive warnings? Very rare. Texting while driving. Yeah, okay, fine, ban them. Using a phone to make a call without hands-free. Yeah, again, ban them, but everybody's got like Siri or, hey, Google, can you do this? And yeah, people do. Driving without wearing a seatbelt. Who the hell does that? Are you stupid? Are you on drugs? Well, actually, that's the last one, drink, drug driving. But driving without a seatbelt? Really? Why? What have you taken? You're stupid. Running red lights. Yeah, fair enough. I've seen that. Driving with headphones on. Hang on, that's not illegal. That is definitely not, because I googled it. Technically, if you can't hear outside, then I suppose what happens if we've got somebody who's deaf? They can't hear outside. Imagine pulling up next to somebody at the lights and they're deaf, but they've got the music up so loud that the car's bouncing around and that deaf person obviously can't hear it. That's not a common play, isn't it? Letting somebody else change the gears for you. Yeah, that could be considered to be quite dangerous. Driven a vehicle I knew had a defect that could impact on my safety. Fair. Yeah, all right then. Yeah, check your car before you go out. Racing friends. It just says racing friends, doesn't it? You'll see it in the text there. Let somebody else hold the steering wheel while driving. Well, the car holds the steering wheel sometimes. I digress. Applying makeup. Doesn't my lipstick look great? On Saturdays, I'll be called Wendy. I don't know. It's like, obviously, this is aimed at different people, this. Applying makeup, yeah, I suppose it could be pretty dangerous. Now, this one got me a little bit. Tailgating. Now, tailgating is actually in the highway code. It says you shouldn't do it. 2-second rule and all the rest of it. But there's nothing specifically as an offence towards it. So if the police were to prosecute you, I don't know how they would do that. Maybe driving without due care of attention, maybe. Drink, drug driving. And this last one, which was, I had to Google, I had to find out about it. Restricting the rear view mirrors by overloading the vehicle. Now, does it mean overloading the vehicle with weight, which is obviously illegal? But does it mean overloading the vehicle as in you can't see out the back using your mirror? And if it does, then what about vans? Because you can't see out the back, or coaches or trucks. They don't have rear view mirrors. So that one there. So most of this report, yeah, people do bad things. We need to train them. We need to do this. We need to do that. 85% said they would consider an advanced driving course. Why? Haven't you trained them enough? Haven't they done enough hours? Some of these things that are on this list are a bit meh, a bit wide, a bit all sort of too many questions in the end. And maybe the survey that they did wasn't very suitable. Which comes on to my next one. People waiting for driving tests again, and I did the Winter is Coming one. It got like 2,500 hits. So whether it was because of the Game of Thrones reference or because genuinely people wanted to know about driving tests, probably Game of Thrones. Then the DVSA recently published their accounts. On the 5th of September 2024, there were 2 million car driving tests, and you can find this out online. However, we did not meet our targets, reducing waiting times to 7 weeks. Here's the waiting times for my area. We plan to reduce waiting times, but they didn't say how. And we're ready to pass, which helps to promote pass rates, but it didn't. So here's the question. They said all of this stuff in a blog. They published their accounts. They made 60 million quid off driving tests, or that was the fund for the driving tests. Pass rate 2019 pre-COVID 49%, 2020 COVID 49.8%, so it actually went up a little bit, and now it's 48.2%. That's slightly less, despite you promoting help to pass or ready to pass. The automatic pass rate was actually lower at 35%. So that means the manual one's probably about 56 or so. These numbers never change. This pass rate hasn't changed since they started recording the data in 1984 or something like that. The pass rate will always be 50%, forever and ever and ever. Amen. The only reason that there isn't enough bloody driving tests isn't because people can't pass. Yeah, it's a contributing factor, but the reason that there isn't enough kind of passes is because it's government controlled. The waiting time is absolutely horrendous, and it probably is if you're watching this in Nepal. Well, maybe not in Nepal. Maybe in Northampton or London or wherever you're watching this, your pass rate is probably different. Allegedly, Northumberland has the highest pass rate in the country. That's why people come here to do their driving test. But if you can drive, you could theoretically pass your driving test anywhere. Does it mean that we need to keep changing? No, you can't keep changing your driving test centre. What you should be doing is being able to drive properly in the first place, and it kind of goes back to that thing. Let's get people driving properly in the first place. My fail that I had on Tuesday, she was a decent driver. She knew what she was doing, just picked the wrong lane, turned right from the left-hand lane. What am I going to do? I'm going to do right turns on roundabouts forever. Because she goes on another test and she do exactly the same thing, because people have a mindset, and that's what part of the problem is. It's not this flexibility in, let's get more examiners into driving test centres so we can reduce the waiting time down to their target of 7 weeks. Because as far as I can tell, that's never going to happen until something drastically changes within the DVSA. DVSA management, government. Anyway, if you like what you saw today, comment, like, subscribe. It's free. Enjoy your day, your week, your weekend. Have a fantastic time. And I will absolutely, as this car went past, see you in the next video. Bye for now.